At some point, many men observe a shift. The hairline that once resided firmly across the forehead begins a slow retreat. Under bright illumination, the crown appears increasingly sparse. The shower drain captures a higher volume of hair than usual. Suddenly, a profound question arises that has echoed across cultures and eras. Why is this happening to me? Baldness is neither a recent phenomenon nor a rare one. Yet, despite its prevalence, male hair loss remains shrouded in misconceptions, humor, insecurity, and general confusion. Is it triggered by stress? Is it the result of shampoo? Is it caused by a personal mistake? Today, we are analyzing the facts. Why do certain men lose hair as they age? What is truly occurring beneath the scalp? And why does it impact some individuals more severely than others? Let's explore the details right here on History of Simple Things. First, most male hair loss is not random shedding. It follows a consistent trajectory known as male pattern baldness or androgenetic alopecia. This progression typically originates at the temples or the crown and expands gradually over the years. In this condition, you will rarely observe total hair loss on the sides or the rear of the head. This occurs because hair follicles in different scalp regions are genetically coded to react uniquely to hormones. Consequently, when thinning begins, it tends to preserve specific zones while targeting others. This is the reason many men develop the characteristic horseshoe shape around the sides and back. It isn't a coincidence. It is biology executing instructions written decades prior. Many assume men lose hair simply due to the aging process. However, age is not the direct catalyst. The primary driver is hormonal, specifically a testosterone byproduct called dihydrotestosterone or DHT. Testosterone is vital for male development, influencing muscle mass, vocal depth, and various other characteristics. Yet, when it converts into DHT, it can cause an unintended consequence: the shrinking of specific hair follicles. In men with a genetic sensitivity to DHT, this hormone attaches to scalp follicles and causes them to steadily each subsequent hair grows thinner, shorter, and lighter. Eventually, these follicles may cease producing visible hair entirely. Thus, baldness is not about having excessive testosterone. It is about how your follicles react to DHT. This leads us to genetics. Whether or not you experience major hair loss depends primarily on your inherited sensitivity to DHT. Some men possess follicles that barely respond to it, while others have follicles that react intensely and rapidly. You may have heard the claim that baldness is inherited solely from the maternal side. This is only partially accurate. Hair loss genes can be inherited from both parents and involve a complex array of multiple genes, not just one. This explains why brothers can have entirely different hairlines, or why a man might maintain a full head of hair despite his father being bald. Genetics influences the odds, but it does not always dictate the final result. Let's examine a single hair follicle. Hair grows in distinct cycles: a growth phase, a resting phase, and a shedding phase. On a healthy scalp, this cycle repeats seamlessly for years. However, in male pattern baldness, DHT restricts the growth phase. Each cycle yields hair that is weaker than the previous one. Ultimately, the follicle becomes so diminished that it produces only microscopic, nearly invisible hair, or nothing at all. Crucially, these follicles do not die instantly. They become dormant. This is why early intervention can sometimes decelerate or partially reverse the loss. Once a follicle completely deactivates, however, regrowth becomes significantly more difficult. If baldness is genetic, why isn't it present at birth? The answer is found in hormone levels. DHT production surges after puberty and levels off in adulthood. Over years, and sometimes decades, the effects accumulate in sensitive follicles. This is why some men detect thinning in their late teens, while others see no change until their 40s or 50s. The process is slow, often so subtle that it only becomes apparent when viewing old photographs. It isn't an abrupt event. It's a quiet, long-term transition occurring strand by strand. There are numerous myths regarding hair loss. Let's clarify them. Wearing hats does not cause baldness. Frequent washing does not cause it either. Using styling products like gel or wax in moderation is also harmless. While stress can cause temporary shedding known as telogen effluvium, this is usually reversible and does not follow the classic male baldness pattern. Male pattern baldness is not the result of poor hygiene, inferior products, or scalp neglect. It is an internal biological process, not a mistake made on the surface. Have you noticed that even men with advanced baldness often retain thick hair on the sides and back? This is because those specific follicles are largely resistant to DHT. These resistant follicles are so dependable that hair transplant surgeries often relocate them to balding zones. Once moved, they typically continue to grow because they maintain their original resistance. This distinction between sensitive and resistant follicles creates the distinctive shape of male baldness. Hair is more than just hair. 'Tis linked to youth, aesthetics, confidence, and identity. This is why hair loss can be emotional, even if it is rarely discussed. For some, it is a minor concern. For others, it impacts self-esteem and social confidence. Neither perspective is incorrect. What matters is recognizing that baldness is not a failure or a flaw, nor is it a measure of health or masculinity. It is simply one of the many ways human bodies evolve over time. So, why do men go bald? Because of genetics. Because of hormones. Because hair follicles respond uniquely to time and chemistry. It is not a punishment or a result of poor care. It is simply biology fulfilling its programmed path. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next topic, please share them in the comments below. We will be sure to acknowledge your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this exploration through the history of simple things. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories discovered within the smallest details.